thorough investigation. I can't imagine that this will not result in criminal charges. The videos are bad.
From the Gulf Coast USA Radio News Bureau, I'm Tony Maruso.
The Powerball jackpot is soaring with no winner in Monday night's drawing. Wednesday's jackpot will be worth an estimated $1.2 billion. For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
Hi, I'm Wade on the Roof. If you like my radio show, you're going to love my podcast, Raw. Each podcast, I present my top 10 most outrageous, salacious, and controversial stories of the week. I break down the best of the best, raw truth stories for conservatives, libertarians, patriots, taxpayers, Trumpers, and deplorables. Anyone who appreciates God, guns, gold, and tax cuts will stand up and cheer for Raw. Check out this week's Raw podcast right now. It's available to download at iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Raw.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Welcome to What's the Story? My name is Janice Hermson, and I am your host. And we have a full crew today. Ed Noel from Omega Mortgage, Doug Ashby, author of Heroes and Giants, and our very special guest, Colleen Westlake, who is the candidate for Washoe County School Board District B. And we thank everyone for being with us. We are airing on Facebook, 93.7 FM, and americamatters.us, as well as on Facebook at America Matters Media. So whatever your preference, you can find us after the show. I do post it on my YouTube channel, which is LaRue Press, and also Rumble, same thing. So, just look around or email me, and I'm happy to take some time and get you the show, because it's worth listening to. The reason we have these folks on from the political candidates, we try and dig in a little bit more about their stories, who they are, background a little bit, so you get to know the people, because every candidate is also a mom, a grandmother, a whatever, they're people.
Well, I don't think they all are.
Well, maybe a grandfather.
However,
right?
well, I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, because we have a lady here, what can I tell you? Anyhow, so the point is that and although I do try to stick to that primarily, oftentimes, like today, it does have to go to politics, because sometimes things happen. Mm-hmm. And today, or actually it was I believe it was the 30th or the 31st, there was a tweet that was posted. And we're going to get to that. But before we do, I want to chat with Colleen and all three of us. And I know that Doug has some questions for Colleen as well. But I'd like to chat with you a little bit and have you share a bit about who you are.
So thank you, first of all, for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here. I am a very proud fifth-generation Nevadan. My roots are basically from Virginia City and Gold Hill, come from a mining and construction background. I am a mother of three. I've been married for 33 years to a wonderful, wonderful human being. Very proud of my boys. They are all successful in my view, and I'm very proud of them, and they have supplied me with, it will be 8 grandchildren come next May. Right,
you got me beat.
Now I'm sitting at 5, but I've been doubling down. I had twins with my youngest son, and now I'm getting twins with my middle son, and then I'll have one more in May. So I've kind of cheated a little bit.
Yes, you have.
Yes.
I only have one set of twins.
Twins, yeah. Yeah, you got that. That's the way you increase the volume.
Right.
Definitely. So
I tell my kids that, right?
It's like, get busy or you're going to have twins or triplets.
There you go.
And I love this community. I ventured out to California I was headhunted to teach at a dance school there, and I did some college there, but I came back. I was only there for about a year. I love this area. This is a great community to raise children in. We have some really good core values, and I wanted to raise children here, and I'm really happy to have participated in all three of my boys' schools and athletics, and I think that's very, very important. I currently work for an orthodontist. I've been in the dental field for over 30 years, and I just want to say to all you young girls, it's a great career. I could have continued on with my criminal justice degree, but I wanted to start a family, and I did want to be a lawyer. So if I wasn't willing to put the time in and I wanted to get busy with the family, I made a choice, and I'm happy with that choice. It's been a great career for me.
And I think that that's true of a lot of women, that men kind of take a different track, but with women, you want a career, you kind of have to make choices as to what that career is going to be, so that you can still work within the family and lots of obligations. So
absolutely.
So I
Come
understand
on, I'm
that.
going to speak up for men. I think that those same choices exist, right? For me, I mean, I was a single dad.
Well, you were a single dad.
I
That's
chose
often
mortgage
different.
for the flexibility to allow me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm not
stuff.
saying that men don't often make those choices, but I don't believe that they feel like, or at least in my era, they didn't feel like they had to, where women kind of knew they had to make that choice. So I think it's probably even better, because probably both parties make the choices instead of just one. So I think that's probably an improvement.
And it's a team effort to raise kids, and people can do it as a single parent.
Right.
Hopefully, they have a good friend and family base to help them, because it is a difficult job to raise kids, but it's a very rewarding job also.
All worth it.
Debbie's my wife. And
who's Debbie?
Oh, hi, Debbie.
We were just talking about
93.7 Debbie. FM.
We were just talking about that, and unfortunately, and this is going to I'm going to anger about 50% of our listeners, but the most important thing, and it's something that the woman's lib movement has demeaned, is motherhood. As far as I'm concerned, that's the most important thing.
But I don't know about you, but I know that when that movement was going on, I never felt like I belonged as part of that. It didn't feel right, right?
Yeah, but think of how many.
I like the parts of it, but the overall just wasn't what you're really looking for. And it was segmented to certain people wanted that extreme, right? Just like today, some of these topics, most of that group don't necessarily want that extreme, but they like parts of it, so they go along.
Right. And then what people say and what they do are two different things.
Absolutely.
Because based on what I know, there's a baby boom. There's a mini baby boom caused by COVID. These folks are having babies, right?
Aren't all babies minis?
Yes, it's the numbers of them coming
but
about.
mini mass, there is a baby boom.
That's right. Well, see what you started.
Yes, it segued into that.
It did.
So now these babies are going to grow up and go to school. We're back. Here we are. We're back.
Except that we have to wait till after our break to take that question. And we will talk about the schools after we come back from this break.
Businesses, writers, check this out. Go to lrpnv.com to get your printing, publishing, and professional services today. Need a virtual office? A place to receive and forward your mail with professional address and suite number for your business? Someone to answer your telephones? Want to rent a conference room for only $15 an hour? What about that book you've been wanting to have printed? LRP Printing and Business Center can do it for you, and they have a professional assistant on site daily, Monday through Friday. Just call 775-356-1004. Need copies, business cards, invoices, books, booklets, or graphic design to help brand you or your business? Just call 775-356-1004 or go to lrpnv.com. With a great selection of new and used books, you can get your printing done and a book to entertain you in your time off. And don't forget, you could have your business sponsoring the Bookhound Radio Show, just like Andrew Martoni, author of Little Man in the Map, does every week. Just go to lrpnv.com. That's lrpnv.com or call 775-356-1004. They'll provide solutions for your business and writing projects.
Sliced fish sandwiches every day, made right before your eyes. The port of Subs way could be a smoking number 5 or a classic number 8, or maybe an Italian is your number 1 fave. Whatever you crave, prepare to fall in love. Sliced fish sandwiches, port of Subs.
Port of Subs Meatball Marinara Bundle is good. Tender, juicy meatballs on savory, fresh-baked rosemary Swiss bread covered with zesty marinara and provolone cheese, then grilled to perfection. Your Meatball Marinara Bundle comes with cheddar sun chips, an ice-cold Dr. Pepper, and a baked fresh daily classic chocolate chip cookie. Fall in love with the Meatball Marinara Bundle. It's a meal that even your nonna will love. Visit your neighborhood Port of Subs today or order online at portofsubs.com or on our app. Port of Subs, slicing fresh for 50 years.
Whatever yummy number you're dreaming of, sliced fish sandwiches, Port of Subs.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by A Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Wake up, the sun below. Got another road to sow. Let the fire feel the hope swelling up from the depths of my soul.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermson. We are here today with, of course, my co-host Ed Noel, Doug Ashby, but we also have Colleen Westlake, who is the candidate for Washoe County School Board District B. Mouthful there.
Yes.
And we kind of like to hear your story, but today there was a story that came out within the last couple of days where Neoma, sorry, I always say her name wrong. No, wrong. Yeah, Neoma Jardon.
Jardon.
Yes, Jardon.
I think so.
I have to take pronunciation lessons.
I think so. Is that a French last name?
I think it's French.
Okay.
Le Francais.
Well, she tweeted out a comment about a slate of candidates, and it was in reference to, let me just read the tweet. She, in fact, I want to also mention, she's the executive director for the Downtown Reno Partnership and a former city councilwoman. She said, "Hey, thanks, Robert Beadle's Franklin Project, in parentheses, for the handy list of who not to vote for. If you're pushing/financing them, that's a hard pass. Go sell your snake oil, anti-Semitic hatred, and extremist candidates somewhere else. Nevada's not buying your BS," which I can't say.
What is BS?
Stop. Remember this?
Didn't you see her sign that?
That's right. And you are on that slate of candidates, Colleen.
Yes.
So, and I know that you put out a press release, but I think that our audience would like to hear directly from you and how you felt about that particular tweet.
Well, first of all, it's hurtful. I've never met Miss Jardon, not even a passing conversation or a hello, which speaks to itself in society. It's very sad now that people feel they can comment on others without having had any conversation with those people, seeing what their ideology is, what kind of character they have. So it is extremely hurtful. It's also a lie. I don't appreciate lies, and you need to have a tough skin if you're going to run for a political office. Myself, I really didn't think school board was going to be political because if it's the last thing I want to be really as a politician. I just want to help kids. But you do have to have a tough skin, but you wouldn't think it would be coming from sitting office holders, and certainly from someone who has been in the media herself, and I'm sure has gotten some negative attention. It just, and honestly, I guess the slate mailer made her just lose her mind for a minute, because I can't imagine a piece of paper that just has some pictures saying, hey, these are candidates that Mr. Beatles, which I've never had a conversation with him either. I've been introduced one time to him and said in passing hello at different events. But for a piece of paper to cause that kind of rage, I think that also speaks to what's going on in society, where people have no dignity and no respect for others before they start, their fingers start just moving.
Is she a Washoe County School District product?
Yeah. You know what's interesting about what you said is that what I have found to be true over at least the last 6 months is the fact that the left side of the spectrum really can't concentrate on issues. So what do? They start demeaning. They start attacking. They start saying, well, this, but, and you're absolutely right. Somebody attacked you that didn't know you.
They don't.
But what do they have left?
She doesn't know
What does the left have left?
And
they can't run on issues.
I actually did send a text to the number that was listed for her, the phone number, and I just said, what is going on here? I said, we've never had a conversation, just what I basically said, and I don't think it's appropriate, or it shows her best side to be doing those things. And she's supposed to be now on the beautification of downtown. What she did is very, very ugly. It's very, very ugly. And she's a beautiful woman. She's beautiful. But when you do things like that, the ugliness inside comes out.
Right. Well, and to blanket the entire, I mean, this was not just a small group of people.
Oh, no.
This was the entire, I believe the entire Republican, was it all of them?
I think she left out a couple
That's something Janice cautions me on all the
time. And I will again, because she was a Republican.
Yeah. Well, no,
just so you
Janice, because I tend to talk in groups. Well, I just did it. The left.
The left.
You know, I'm sure there's good people in the left.
But she's not with the left. She's a Republican.
Her ideas sound like they're the left.
I know that. I'm just telling you that at least in this particular ballotpedia, it states that she was known to be a member of the Republican Party. Maybe she's changed. I don't know. I have no idea.
You know,
but I just want to set the
there's
record
a couple
straight.
things that I do want to mention. One of the you said you were the manager of an orthodontics office. I can't think of another profession that would get you other than teaching, that would get you exposed to young children.
Yes.
I don't want to say young adults, young people. I mean, you would see them come in the office and you would see them leaving with great smiles. What a wonderful career. The second part of that is the three of us on a weekly basis, we say, you know, we don't like this, we don't like that. And one of the things that we came up with, and over the last few shows, we have had guests in here that said, that's the way I feel, and this is what I'm going to do about it.
And what's your question?
Pardon?
What's your question?
No, it wasn't a question. It was a statement. Is that you're to be commended, the fact that you want to do something. We just sit here and talk about it. We haven't. Well, maybe our voices carry.
But just realistically, right? The noise is just so ridiculous. Big picture, right? I mean, we're getting towards election. We get into all these small events. Who's in power, right? Whose economy stinks? Whose crime stinks, right? Political crime is just an elevation of this crime all around us, right? We got this going on. This gal's just another part of it, right? The dirty name calling.
As Janice points out, so it's not one side or the other.
Well, it is both.
Yes.
Right. So tell us from the standpoint of what you plan to do. could there have been something that she saw in your, maybe in your statements for what you're going to do with the school board that, if you get in, maybe
Possibly.
Basically, I mean,
Basically,
I'm just trying to
Fine.
kind of
well,
flesh this out a little bit.
absolutely. Well, I have been critical and saying for a year now that our school system is failing our children. And I believe the facts bear me out now. It took a while.
I'll give
so
you a
now I
second
don't
on
look
that.
like a kook.
Me too.
Because they kept pushing the narrative that everything was wonderful. Okay, the ship is going down and everything is wonderful. And I've been saying for over a year, we are in deep trouble here, people. We have to do something. We need to change it up, figure out what's going wrong, get a plan, and get policies in place to fix it. And of course, no, everything's fine. I mean, I've heard it from lots of people. But now we have the national report card come out. And we have the Nevada State report card come out. And we are failing.
Yes,
we are failing. You can't deny that. So now they've kind of tweaked it a little bit. And now we're failing because we're coming out of COVID. Well, excuse me,
It's
no.
school boards, right? They're
Excuse
always
me.
failing because they don't have enough money.
Yes, excuse me. No, we've been failing.
So
for
how are you
10
going
years.
to change this
Okay.
how are you going to change this if you win?
So we need to this sounds so cliche. We need to get back to basics. But if you look at it as far as a time frame, there's only so many hours, minutes, seconds in the classroom afforded for the teacher to get material across. So if the teacher can get right to the core meat of it, math, reading, science, history, possibly another language like other countries do.
How about critical race theory?
Well, they'll tell you that's not in there, but the facts are bearing out that it most certainly is in there. And a study just came out. I can't cite it, it's on my phone, but they're asking kids that have just graduated, what percentage has heard there's like 8 hot topics of critical race theory, and have they heard this phrase or in reference to this? And over 50% of these kids have. So it most certainly has. Just because you don't have a course, critical race theory.
Right.
We can have everything dealing with critical race theory, but it's not called critical race theory. Therefore, it does not exist. It's a lie. They are trying to put blinders on our parents and on our grandparents and even on people that don't have kids that live in
And
this
as far
community.
as parents' rights, because we're running out of time, and I want to get in as much as I can. Parents' rights, how do you feel about that?
Oh, absolutely. I am for parental choice. I want to see parents back in the school volunteering. For one thing, it's going to help the teacher if the teacher can streamline and teach the basics, not so much data entry, get parents in there assisting, Xeroxing, putting packets together, helping small groups that are struggling with certain materials to get them up to level so the teacher can keep moving forward and then mainstream those kids in.
The school board, you're able to make those things happen?
We most certainly will be, because we establish policies and then ask for them to be put into action by the superintendent, and then the superintendent disperses that to her lieutenants, and there we go. It's going to turn around rather quickly, but we have to get started. We've already lost so much ground.
Well, I want to thank you, Colleen, for being with us. Sorry it goes so fast, but all right, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Noreen Leary, CEO of the Veterans Guest House. Guest House is a home away from home for our veterans and their families who travel to Reno for medical care. Our house is more than just a warm bed. It's a place of camaraderie where veterans can find support and long-lasting friends. We serve veterans, men and women, young and old, Navy, Army, Marines, Coast Guard, and Air Force. Wherever they hail from and whatever their circumstance, the Veterans Guest House is ready to support them. The reason we feel so strongly about our mission is that we know that many veterans would forego their medical treatments because they simply can't afford the accommodations. The guest house is one of a kind in the country. funded entirely through private donations. Want to know how you can help? There are many ways you can be involved, from volunteering, providing dinners, or supplying items from our wish list. Find out more about the Guest House at www.veteransguesthouse.org. Serving veterans today, tomorrow, and for years to come.
Barbecue, the Butcher's Kitchen, would like to thank every customer for your loyalty and continued support through these challenging times. Call for takeout and delivery of rib tips, brisket, ahi, tuna, roasted veggies, and much more. Barbecue is open from 11 to 7, Monday through Saturday, and delivers hot food safe and healthy. Call 499-5855 for details. 499-5855 Barbecue, as featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives. Get real. Get into Barbecue Reno.
You hear it all the time. Buy local, think local, eat local, choose local, grow local. But who the heck really is local? You can shop with locals at the Nevada Marketplace in the Reno Town Mall and search for locals at buynevadafirst.com. We're all local all the time.
Did you realize that radio advertising doesn't cost? It pays. America Matters Media has an opening for a person who would like to represent our sales department on a full or part-time commission basis. Prior sales experience preferable. So, if you have good presentation, negotiation, organization, and communication skills, America Matters wants to talk to you. Contact Eddie Floyd, 775-384-4444. Do it today.
Call Sursic Dental because you're worth it. They can make your smile perfect. You're gonna love your new smile. Sursic Dental for a perfect smile.
Sursic Dental has a $125 special that includes a cleaning, x-rays, a free Sonicare toothbrush, and a free cosmetic makeover consultation.
Sursic Dental for a perfect
Call
smile.
827-1113.
Text and whatever. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermson. I'm your host, and we've got Doug Ashby, author of Heroes and Giants.
Thank you.
Ed Noel, Omega Mortgage.
Howdy,
Don't
hi,
forget, he
folks.
doesn't have a sign up today, but
Oh, I don't.
call him if you need a mortgage. He's the man. He's the man. So,
I really enjoyed that last half hour. Colleen's an interesting gal, and I think would
Yes.
benefit us in the on the school board.
You know, she is. She's very interesting. It was tough getting her out of her shell, wasn't it? You know, there were several other questions that I wanted to ask her, but the clock just ran down.
it just runs out, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
Well, that's why I said to you, what's your question? Go for your
Oh,
question.
you know, thank you. That's fine. But you know what? Hidden in there was a compliment to her, and I just admire these people that you know, they see an issue, they see a problem, and they say, "I think I can solve that," and they throw their hat in the ring.
They do.
Yeah, I think
And
that's
then
great.
they go and shavoo
Right.
after they win.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, that was
How
terrible.
about that? They shavoo after they win, right?
Oh, you know,
Shavoo.
that's the first word that I couldn't find any synonyms to.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, how interesting.
What?
Our synonym man failed us. How about
That's
that?
impossible.
I know, and I
Sorry
looked
to hear
very,
that.
very hard. So
I'll bet
much
you
so I
couldn't find
lost-
the origin of it either.
Yes, I did.
Oh,
I did find that. Australia.
but what year?
Pardon?
What year?
1654.
Oh, you got an earlier one than I did.
No, I just made that up.
Oh, see how he is? He
That was
can't
called-
find
that
synonyms
was-
and then he lies.
That was that was called a pivot.
So what are you being, Doug? Are you trying to be the epitome of a white guy today?
That's right.
Right? You're filling all the lying. You're right. You're just living right
Well, wait a
within
minute.
right within the stereotype of an old white guy.
But you know what? Didn't it flow though? I mean, it was
It went
deli-
nicely, except I was like, wow, where did he find that?
Yeah. And I don't know how I came up with that number either.
It's pretty good. You were 100 years too early, but
I'm going to work on my pivots. I like that.
I don't know about that. So it really started with the word spelled Chevaux as opposed to Chivoo, which is Shivoo. So
It looks that genie kind of thing.
Yeah,
right, like a
kinda.
genie word.
Yeah. Well, 1798, that could be a genie word, right?
I don't know. I really don't know my Australian history,
He
so I don't
says-
know what was going on.
He says,
there in
we have
17.
just left Gibraltar. Sir John Ord gave a grand chevaux to which he was so good as to invite me.
So
See, there he used it in a sentence for
So
you. 1798, and it even made
we
sense.
have to kick our ancestors. I'm telling you, Chevaux could have been used in everyday conversation instead of celebration or party.
Oh, a much better
could have been
word.
a way Chevaux. Oh
Well,
yeah, Chevaux.
You found the Chevaux stuff. You found something, an app, right?
Yeah, so Apple has an app, Chevaux. That was going to be my book of the day.
Oh, I forgot. I'm
but
sorry.
that's all right.
I messed you up.
So just so it's got a perfect
Don't tell me
5
things.
out of 5.
You know,
how many rankings you think?
See, it's got it ranked.
How many?
You love rank.
How many reviews?
4.
Nope.
How many?
12. All perfect 5.
See?
And you know it's designed actually it's basically a scheduler of parties and details around colleges.
So it's
is
perfect.
what the Apple app.
Well,
is.
hey, this fits right in. It says it's a at the post collegiate level. That's where most people know it. Educated people.
So they're talking about. So is there drinking and non-drinking Chevaux?
I don't know. Well,
or is Chevaux allied with either
Ed,
imbibing beverages?
To me, that would be a good product name. Oh, can you buy a bottle of Chevaux?
Well, there's lots. If you search Chevaux, you'll find lots of ways that it's
Yeah, I
being
use
used right
Chevaux
now.
on my hair every day.
But
very
unfortunately, it's another one of those words that's really hard to work into a sentence. You know it?
I just did when I said she was going to Chevaux after she won, right?
Well, yeah.
We're
No, that fits
That
very,
was
very well.
perfect.
The unfortunate thing is nobody would know what you're talking about.
That's okay. They
But-
would look at me
but
and
see,
they
yeah,
pay attention.
But see, if it was if it was a drink, then they would know.
Yeah, they would. I don't know how to pivot from Chevaux to this next topic, so I'm just going to
Go there?
Go there. I'm just going to go there. So I think I mentioned to you guys that we were doing the challenges. We were doing 300 challenges to the Washoe County Registrar voters. Did I mention that before?
Yep.
And so we submitted those in a timely fashion. There is a 5-day window to do that. And we did it in that 5-day window, which is right before the election, which our statute should be changed. That's a ridiculous time to expect the the registrar or the county clerk to have to do all this extra work.
Right.
But that's by statute. They are required to do that. So what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to send out a notification to anybody who was challenged. And I don't know if they do it in form of postcard. They can send somebody out to do it. There's a lot of
What do
different
they do?
ways.
Go, hey, you alive?
Yeah, that
You
well, you
there?
live here. Do you
Yeah.
live here? So there's a lot of ways they can do it, but one of the ways is postcard. And they notify the person that they've been challenged. And then if they respond and they can provide whatever proof they need to, then they aren't challenged anymore, right? That's fine. And they have to attest to that. There's a statement they have to make, and it's all in the NRS statute. So we submitted our 300 challenges. Initially, walking in the door, the registrar of voters says, well, you don't have the right form.
Oh,
and I said, oh, that's interesting because I already have redone these once because we didn't have the right form. And so what form is that? And then she produced it. And it was exactly the same form, except there was a statement that said that we had to produce proof. Well, the statement says personal knowledge. So I don't know what kind
That
of proof
counts
you
as proof.
provide. I would think that my personal knowledge, and I'm signing that to the effect that under penalty of perjury, this is my personal knowledge. In my list, I had 93. I found that 88 of them were things that I could affirm that I believed by the documentation I had, by knocking on a door,
By
that
neighbors,
I know that moved, that these folks have
That
moved.
always
These were
helps.
just people that moved out. No suppressing anybody's vote here, folks. This is truly just going out there and saying these people have self-reported that they moved. We're confirming that, right? And some of that confirmation is we know, right? We know that they're gone. So she did eventually say, yes, okay, she's going to accept it because I said, we have proof. So she accepted the forms, and then proceeded to, we waited quite some time. She had to call the district attorney. She had to do different things, to make sure that it was going to be okay. And it was okay. So
Is this bureaucracy at its finest?
Little bit.
But it is. But these people, this had to happen. Yeah. In my opinion, the challenge, the races are so close.
Yeah.
It's
so
just
here
sloppy.
we go. Here we go. This is just to us, it's sloppy. That's really what we
just
believe.
Sloppy.
So on October 30th, the Nevada Independent wrote a story about this. They had contacted me. I will tell you, I believe they contacted me Thursday or Friday. I don't remember. And I chose not to respond just because I just didn't want to. I guess that would be the reason why. So they wrote, none of the challenges submitted during Nevada's brief 5-day window for voter registration challenges were deemed valid, a Washoe County spokesperson told the Nevada Independent this month. I want you to know the registrar did not contact us to tell us that our challenges were invalid or why. So we're going to seek that information. We haven't had a chance to do that since I just read this article over the weekend.
But you found out through the article.
Right. That included challenges of 260 voters who were already inactive, meaning they do not receive election mail but are still eligible to vote. 42 whose registrations were already canceled, and 5 duplicate challenges. So because these records were not active, these challenges could not be verified and the process stopped. Well, I'm going to challenge that because from the NRS that I read, they could have, because they did get these challenges, they could have investigated them. That is not against the law for them to do that. That being said, the remaining 27 challenges were verified, meaning the voter was active and lived in the same precinct as the challenger. So what they're saying is that they believe that they belonged on, that they were able to vote. And that's fine. That's all A-okay, except we challenged it. Why didn't they either come back to us or challenge that voter? So we're going to follow up on this and find out. And there's going to be more to the story, which I'm not going to say anything right now on air, but there will be some other things that we'll be doing after this. So it's just sloppy data record keeping.
It is.
And that's where our concern is that they're not paying attention to the records. They're allowing them to be on there. Why are they eligible to vote? And here's the other thing that I didn't tell you. I checked a couple of the records to see what they had on the person's record because, gosh, all I have to do is have a birth date and your last name, and I can look at your record and who you are, where you live, and and what district, the whole thing, right? And whether you got mailed a ballot or not.
Right.
Isn't that interesting? They can know whether we got mailed a ballot or not.
Or two. You could get 2 ballots.
You could. You can talk about that after the break. But so they did do that. And here's the interesting part. They have the person's address where they say that they supposedly live, and their mailing address is the change of address that they had put in. So what does that tell you? They got that information. They knew. They just chose not to do anything about it. So there you go. All right, we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsyth Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
businesses, writers, check this out. Go to lrpnv.com to get your printing, publishing, and professional services today. Need a virtual office? A place to receive and forward your mail with professional address and suite number for your business? Someone to answer your telephones? Want to rent a conference room for only $15 an hour? What about that book you've been wanting to have printed? LRP Printing and Business Center can do it for you, and they have a professional assistant on site daily, Monday through Friday. Just call 775-356-1004. Need copies, business cards, invoices, books, booklets, or graphic design to help brand you or your business? Just call 775-356-1004 or go to lrpnv.com. With a great selection of new and used books, you can get your printing done and a book to entertain you in your time off. And don't forget, you could have your business sponsoring the Bookhound Radio Show, just like Andrew Martoni, author of Little Man in the Map, does every week. Just go to lrpnv.com. That's lrpnv.com or call 775-356-1004. They'll provide solutions for your business and writing projects.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by A Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Now she's gone like a...
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermson. We've been doing some talk about election information, and I have a little bit more on that. I wanted to chat a bit about Bolsonaro. You guys know who Bolsonaro is? Yes? No? Maybe? Being the Brazil, do they run for president there? What do they run for?
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that it?
Yeah. She didn't want to hear him. No, he didn't need to talk.
Who?
You.
Oh.
No, I'm not gonna shush. She's shushing me.
Yeah,
I love being shushed. It's
we're
fun.
just a knob away from what she did to him. So
I know. You got that right, she's saying. Yep, you got that right, fella. So I picked up two different articles because I think it's so interesting to see how the media covers this stuff. And hopefully this is BBC, and this one is from an alternative group, and I'm trying to see where their name is. Oh, this is the independentsentinel.com. Maybe it's not an alternative, but it seems like it from their spin. So the Independent Sentinel says incumbent Bolsonaro lost to the hard left Lula. Brazil will go the way of the rest of South America. The vote also concludes a triumphant personal comeback for Lula da Silva. The 75-year-old Lula had been arrested for corruption and imprisoned for 580 days. That's who I want to be my president.
Well, right. Those guys have a habit of that.
The sentences were later annulled by the Supreme Court, clearing his path to run for re-election. The Communist Party of Brazil and the Greens both joined forces with Lula's Workers' Party to back him for president. The leader of the Communist Party, they name him Santos, sounded like a lot of America's Democrats. The people showed at the polls that they no longer want hatred, division, violence, hunger, and authoritarianism. Today, we're going to celebrate this triumph. We're going to celebrate democracy. And starting on Tuesday, we'll be in the field campaigning. Occupy the streets, talk to every person we can, raise popular awareness, ensure even more support for Lula. It's not likely Brazil can come back from this. Lula's alliances with the furthest left likely spells doom for Brazil. So that's that side of it.
Bummer for them.
Sounds terrible, doesn't it?
I mean, what is he ruining the PBR?
Don't know. So then we get the BBC News. Brazil's Bolsonaro to break silence after defeat. Brazil's far-right president, Bolsonaro, is expected to speak in the coming hours, breaking the silence he has maintained since being defeated in Sunday's presidential election. Tension has risen in the country after Mr. Bolsonaro broke with the tradition of acknowledging defeat. Ooh, he didn't acknowledge. Some of his supporters are refusing to recognize the results and have erected roadblocks across the country. They don't like that. That's not a pretty picture. Police said they had cleared more than 300 roadblocks so far, but 267 remain. They had a lot of roadblocks out there. They've cut off the flights because of all the protesters. Blockages have been reported in all but 2 states, causing considerable disruption to the food supply chain. Buses reported running low on water and food as they spent hours stuck in queues. The need of Brazil's it was my printer. The head of Brazil's Supreme Court, Alexandre de Moraes, said there was a risk to national security and ordered that the roads be cleared. Blockades. I feel like this is like some little story, right? Just something out of a book.
I think I watched this movie on like Comet this weekend.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of movie where.
Right. It does sound that way, doesn't it? The blockade started shortly after Brazil's electoral authorities announced a narrow win for Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva in the runoff of the presidential election. With all the votes counted, Lula had, you ready for it? 50.9%. Mr. Bolsonaro had 49.1%. So there you go. So that's the different sides in the way that they look at it, right?
It's interesting, too, because, right, did other people run or did they just have one vote? Like, right, when we vote, right, there's 30 people,
ballot.
right?
Yeah,
there's
a down ballot. Yeah.
30 votes or whatever you got.
Yeah.
Did they vote with one decision?
I don't know. These were the only stories that I pulled about it. I heard about it the other day, or I guess it was yesterday or the day before when that happened. And I thought, well, how interesting, because now if you're on alternate media or alternate social media, you'll see a lot of videos of all these people protesting. I mean, it looks like it did when the election for Trump, right? You've got people everywhere out there. But you don't see that. I checked the mainstream, and of course, you're not seeing that. They're saying that all these people are cheering because they're happy Lula won.
Best I know, though, Brazil, Brazil's way ahead of other South American countries in wealth, in mining and cattle. Well, right, they're giving it all away. I mean,
but did they give it away, or was it taken from them? That's the question, and it is a question. It is.
Hey, I have.
They use Dominion machines, I think.
I have kind of a rhetorical.
They probably barter system. They're probably taking cattle for the cheating.
A rhetorical question.
Sure.
You know, if you come from another country and you apply for citizenship, one of the requirements is that you be able to speak English. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward to become a citizen.
It should be a requirement, however, that they find out if they can become a citizen inside of 10 years.
Well, but with that as a backdrop, when I went to vote yesterday, it says vote here, and then underneath it says vote aquí. Why does it say that in Spanish?
I think they give them Spanish ballots.
So that
they do. You can't have, but why can you have a Spanish? If you have to be able to speak English, why?
I don't think you do. No, I don't think you do. No.
To be a citizen, you do.
Well, best I know, they're not processing anyone to be citizens. But if you look on driver's licenses, right, there's 15 countries, 15 languages. It's the same.
We should make them.
It's the same with voting rights. Well, I applaud this, right? I mean, so you can speak English, but you're Korean American, right? And want stuff, right? That's why they mail it to you. It's all right there in front of you so they can read and stuff. But it is in every language or many languages.
When we were in Europe,
there are exceptions for older adults who have been in the country for many years.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So we cater to them. When we were in Europe,
it says it's a basic test of how well you understand, speak, read, and write English. The examiner will speak to you in English. He or she will be paying attention to how well you're able to respond to simple questions.
We should take these people and put them in the school system, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We don't have any new citizens. They're not graduating any new citizens. Maybe we don't want them in our schools.
When we were in Europe, we visited Russia, Germany, England. England speaks a different language than we do too.
Yeah, but there are exemptions for that.
But
that's what it says.
But you know
there
what?
Exemptions.
Every country we went to, people spoke English fluently, and I thought, wow, that sure speaks to their schooling system.
So I think it speaks to social media, and it speaks to English being, if you want to get ahead or you want anything, you got to speak English. It's to that. I think it has less to do with their education system than.
I don't know. We aren't even teaching kids in our schools English.
Well, one more story for you about related to the election. You guys know who True the Vote is. True the Vote is the organization Catherine Engelbrecht and Gregg Phillips, and they did the 2000 Mules movie with Dinesh D'Souza, and found all the people that were harvesting ballots in all these places.
And I saw the boxes on the news last night, so they're still there.
They're still there. Well, Catherine and Greg were sentenced to jail yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday, because the informant that gave them the information relative to actually it was relative to Connect, that group that, poll chief, all that.
Yeah.
They will not out their source. And so they're going to jail, or they're in jail right now.
So it's a contempt of court thing.
Yep. Contempt of court. Yeah. Because they won't out the source. The judge would not listen to the fact that Connect CEO is in jail or at least he was put in jail initially in Los Angeles for the fact that their software, the information was being stored in China, and that was not supposed to happen. So, but the judge didn't care. The judge didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to, because, it's just very convoluted and very strange. But yeah, they won't out their source, so they're in jail. I just thought it was an interesting story. And
yes.
Relative to what we're doing here, So what can I say? It's crazy. The world has gone and turned topsy-turvy. That's all I can say.
There was a news item I heard coming in here, which I thought was very interesting, that Chief Justice Roberts today put a hold on releasing Trump's tax returns.
That's weird.
No, it says it's very, very clear. It's spelled out that nobody's tax returns shall be made public. No one's.
Oh, there you go.
What year?
Pardon?
On that note, we got to take a break here, and we'll be back after the news.
Happen by him in your head. Hey, sister, better watch out. Danger ahead. If you don't look at what you're doing, you're gonna end up dead.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now. 800-296-1259. 800-296-1259. 800-296-1259. That's 800-296-1259.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media at 93.7 FM, KPGF Sun Valley, your community radio station.
USA Radio News with Tim Berg.
Campaigns are making their final push as Election Day is next Tuesday for the 2022 midterms. From Georgia to Arizona and Pennsylvania to Nevada, all eyes are on the battleground states that will determine which party controls Congress for the next 2 years. Republicans are ahead of Democrats by 2 points on a generic congressional ballot. Kathy is from Pennsylvania, and she tells Fox News she's switching parties for the first time.
I've been a lifelong Democrat, but I'm here to tell you today that I'm a Republican. I can no longer follow this party. Absolutely not.
The man accused of attacking House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband is pleading not guilty to attempted murder and other charges. David DePape appeared in a San Francisco court Tuesday. His attorney, a public defender, said he has received little information on the case so far and has yet to see the police report related to the attack. Powerball fever is continuing to sweep the nation. From the USA Radio News West Coast News Bureau, Lance Pry explains.
There were no big treats from the Halloween night Powerball drawing, as none of the tickets sold matched all 6 numbers. This means the next drawing Wednesday night will be for a massive $1.2 billion jackpot, the 4th largest in history.
Gas prices are 5 cents lower than they were this time last month, but still higher than the same time last year. AAA reporting the national average currently sits at $3.75 a gallon. Georgia has the cheapest price per gallon at $3.14. Tuesday marks a successful launch for SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket on a Space Force mission.
Falcon Heavy is supersonic. There we just heard the call out that the vehicle is now traveling faster than the speed of sound. What a beautiful sight.
It's the 4th ever liftoff from Florida's Space Coast. This is USA Radio News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The Labor Department is reporting a jump in job openings in September. Figures show there were 10.7 million job openings. That's over 500,000 more than the previous month. The number of hires and separations declined in September. The biggest increases in job openings were in accommodation and food services, followed by healthcare, social assistance, and transportation. The Florida school shooter faces sentencing and his victims starting Tuesday. Nicholas Cruz was sentenced to life in prison after pleading guilty to all charges connected to the 2018 shooting that killed 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. After the victim's family speak, the judge on Wednesday will formally sentence him to life in prison without parole. A cold case is finally solved in the New England states.
Authorities in Massachusetts say the victim in the oldest cold case has been identified thanks to advanced genealogy technology. FBI Boston Special Agent in charge, Joe Benavilanza, says the victim's dismembered body was found on the dunes of Cape Cod back in 1974.
It was a brutal death, and for the last 48 years, investigators with the Massachusetts State Police and Provincetown Police Department have worked tirelessly to identify her.
From the Gulf Coast USA Radio News Bureau, I'm Tony Maruso.
Please remember to follow us on Facebook at USA Radio. For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
Hi, I'm Wade on the Roof. If you like my radio show, you're going to love my podcast, War Raw. Each podcast, I present my top 10 most outrageous, salacious, and controversial stories of the week. I break down the best of the best raw truth stories for conservatives, libertarians, patriots, taxpayers, Trumpers, and deplorables. Anyone who appreciates God, guns, gold, and tax cuts will stand up and cheer for War Raw. Check out this week's War Raw podcast right now. It's available to download on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you listen to podcasts. War Raw. War Raw.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Now she's gone like a little inner song all the way to MIA, where she thinks that she belongs. Now she's gone like a little inner song all the way to MIA, where she thinks that she belongs.
Welcome to What's the Story? This is Janice Hermson. I'm your host, and we are in our second hour on this November 1st, 2022.
I got that commercial that came on before we came live, and it's War Raw, right? It's like a mirror image, right? The words.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, I didn't even
There
think
we
about
go.
that. There you go. I've never paid attention to that. Just some little tidbits of shaboo, right?
Well, that's just the ironclad snap trap
There you
brain
go.
that I got.
Well, I want to get right to our guest. We have Michael Wald, who is our guest today, and he is with us on our Mellon channel here. If you're on Facebook, you get to see him. If you're on the air, you're only going to get to hear him, but you're going to love what you hear. So welcome, Michael.
Hi, nice to be here.
Yeah, great to have you. And Michael, why don't you share with our audience a little bit? Michael's the author of Why Didn't You Call? A Peace Corps Panama Expose. I'd love to hear a little bit of your background, share with our audience a little bit about you and how this all came about.
Okay, well, this is a new book that I just published. When I was 55, my wife and I joined the Peace Corps after I had practiced law for 35 years. And so I may be the only prior lawyer to join the Peace Corps that wrote a book about the experience. Most of the people that are in the Peace Corps are in their late 20s, 29-year-olds.
So what possessed you?
It's something that I'd always wanted to do from the time I was in college. Of course, I was in college around the time, that Peace Corps was very popular, and I wasn't able to do it because, I got married, I raised a family, and I, was putting my kids through school, concentrating on my legal practice, growing it, and then when I finally reached the point where my kids were out of the house, I decided, why not? I'd like to do it. That's an old college dream.
And your wife joined you on that journey, didn't she?
Well, that's actually a funny story because the Peace Corps, I applied myself, and the Peace Corps said, well, your wife, you can't, you're married, so you have to go with your wife. So I said, okay. I went and spoke to my wife, and her brother had served in the Peace Corps in its second year, I believe it was. And he had a fantastic experience. So she was inclined to do it. So she said, fine. And so we went together. But when I got into the Peace Corps, I found there were a lot of married couples that were serving without their spouses. So this was just one example of many that I talk about in the book of how the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing a lot in the Peace Corps.
Oh, that's a shame. All right, so go ahead.
I was going to say that's what a lot about what the book talks about. It's the Peace Corps really is an organization that was thrown together following a campaign promise that John Kennedy made shortly before he got elected, and then he wanted to fulfill his promise. He appointed his brother-in-law to head the Peace Corps, and they threw it together. And I don't think it's been revamped much since that time. It really needs to be completely revised for modern age.
And as somebody that's much more mature than the rest of the people that are involved, how did that play out as far as working together, coordinating those things? How did that work?
Well, I'm not sure exactly if your question is about coordinating with the other volunteers or coordinating.
Yes, with the volunteers. Yeah, with the other volunteers more so than, because I think your book kind of tells the story of the actual organization.
Yeah. So I was serving in Panama, and in Panama they have two groups that come on, that start a 2-year volunteer stint each year. So in my group, we had about 47 volunteers, and the volunteers were divided into sectors. There was environmental people, there were business development people, there were English teachers. I was in a new sector, so I was in a sector that the Peace Corps had never tried before, which was tourism and English advising. And there were of the 47 of us, there were 12 in that group, and in that group, I can't say that we
bonded.
Were bonded very well. But other group, like the group that came after us, also had a married couple about our age, and that group bonded very well. So it just depends on what group you're in.
Right. So did you find that the work itself was what you expected?
No.
In a word, no.
So this is a common story that I've heard speaking to Peace Corps volunteers, in my years since volunteering. What happens is the Peace Corps has people in the various countries where it serves go out to small rural communities and try to find places where Peace Corps volunteers can help. And they ask, is there any projects that you need help with? And they're told, okay, we need to, for example, I didn't do this, but let's say we need to build a latrine. We don't have a latrine in our community. So then that person communicates through the channels to Washington, D.C., and they then communicate out to the country, to all the regional areas. We need a volunteer to build latrines. And then they go start recruiting somebody to do that. And from the time that they've identified the problem to the time that the volunteer actually shows up could be as much as 3 years. And by that time, the community's figured out how to build their own.
Yes.
I figured they were using a rock or a tree or something else by that point.
Right. So this happens a lot. And
wow.
So it seems like, in my experience, a large number, I would say, over 80% of the volunteers end up showing up in their communities. I'm here to, do X, Y, Z. And the community says, what? And they end up having to find something to do. I have a friend here in town that was sent to the school to teach English. And when she showed up, they had no idea what she was doing there. And she was she was in a very, very, very rural community in Peru. And she went into town and to, sit and have a coffee, and she was on her phone or something telling somebody about what was going on. And a nun heard her on the phone and said, well, we have a Catholic school up the street. We really could use an English teacher. And so she ended up teaching English there. But
wow. Yeah, not exactly what she thought she was going to be doing, but I guess better than not at all.
Well, they won't.
All right. We will be right back. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with more from Michael Wald.
Businesses, writers, check this out. Go to lrpnv.com to get your printing, publishing, and professional services today. Need a virtual office? A place to receive and forward your mail with professional address and suite number for your business? Someone to answer your telephones? Want to rent a conference room for only $15 an hour? What about that book you've been wanting to have printed? LRP Printing and Business Center can do it for you, and they have a professional assistant on site daily, Monday through Friday. Just call 775-356-1004. Need copies, business cards, invoices, books, booklets, or graphic design to help brand you or your business? Just call 775-356-1004 or go to lrpnv.com. With a great selection of new and used books, you can get your printing done and a book to entertain you in your time off. And don't forget, you could have your business sponsoring the Bookhound Radio Show, just like Andrew Martoni, author of Little Man in the Map, does every week. Just go to lrpnv.com. That's lrpnv.com or call 775-356-1004. They'll provide solutions for your business and writing projects.
Sliced fresh sandwiches every day, made right before your eyes. The Port of Subs way could be a smoking number 5 or a classic number 8, or maybe an Italian is your number 1 fave. Whatever you crave, prepare to fall in love. Sliced fresh sandwiches, Port of Subs.
Port of Subs Rosemary Swiss Bread is back. Nothing smells better than fresh-baked warm bread with a hint of savory rosemary and topped with creamy Swiss cheese. The only thing better than the smell is the taste. Try it with your favorite classic sub or with any of our signature hot subs. It's good. Rosemary Swiss Bread is here for a limited time, so visit your neighborhood Port of Subs today or order ahead at portofsubs.com for pickup or delivery. Port of Subs, slicing fresh for 50 years.
Whatever yummy number you're dreaming of, sliced fresh sandwiches, Port of Subs.
It was a cold winter's night in the North Atlantic over 100 years ago, and just like the Titanic before it hit the iceberg, Washoe County School District is steaming at full speed toward disaster, led by ineffective leaders with misplaced goals and values.
You may have heard the alarm. Our school board continually fails to address quality of education, the increased violence, absenteeism, and alcohol and drug abuse, but instead pursues an agenda that parents do not want and is failing our children. Hi, I'm Colleen Westlake, candidate for Washoe County School Board, District B.
I'm Graham Reed, candidate for Washoe County School Board, District F.
And I'm Melanie Sutton, candidate for Washoe County School Board, District C. We are the change needed to improve education. Vote Westlake, Sutton, and Reed on Election Day, November 8th.
And we will turn the ship around.
Paid for by Colleen Westlake, Melanie Sutton, and Graham Reed for Washoe County School Board.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. I'm Janice Hermson. I'm your host. This is What's the Story? And we are talking to Michael Wald, who is the author of Why Didn't You Call? A Peace Corps Panama Expose. And Michael, while we were on the break, we were all chit-chatting here about your book. And Doug had the question. He says, I think my question's too broad, but kind of what is the Peace Corps? How did you even make that choice? I know you knew about it when you were in college, but how did you find out about it in college? I know that Ed said that he just kind of knew about it. But how does that fall as far as, I'm going to go in the Peace Corps? What would be your expectation if you're going to go in the Peace Corps for anybody who might not know, like Doug?
Yeah.
Well, I do think, Janice, that Peace Corps is not really very well known these days. It's not, uppermost in the consciousness of most Americans. It was formed in 1961, I believe, and so it's just had its 60th birthday. And it was formed so that countries that are undeveloped, that can use technical assistance that Americans have, would accept a volunteer on a volunteer basis, Americans, to help them with their needs. It started off, from building schools to, doing all sorts, teaching in their universities for countries all over the world. And it's continued ever since. Many countries have, seen Peace Corps leave when they've had revolutions, and after things settle down, Peace Corps will be invited back in. But basically, the countries have to invite Peace Corps in to help them, and then we show up. Other countries have similar programs. Japan has a program. England has a program similar to this.
I'm kind of assuming that this is a federal program and not a private program.
That's right. It's a federal government program. So I think it's publicized mostly on college campuses.
It was JFK, right? I mean, if I recall right, it came out of the, ask not what you can do for yourself, what can you do for the country?
What can you do for you?
Exactly.
And it was all out of that same speech and same stuff. The Peace Corps came.
Well, it wasn't the same speech, but it was that same concept. Yeah, it was actually, as I understand it, he made an offhand remark at 2 a.m. in the morning on a stop in front of a student union at, I think it was the University of Michigan. He said something like, how many of you would agree to go volunteer in a foreign country if you could help them out with the knowledge you're learning here at college? And everybody cheered, and that was the beginning of the Peace Corps.
Oh, you know what? I would cheer too and say, Ed, go for it.
Well, had I known it was Michigan, right? We could send more of them. We could send them all.
Yeah.
So from your perspective then, because I know that this is what your book is really about, is the kind of disconnect that happens when you're trying to do this laudable cause. And from your perspective, from when you were thinking about doing it in college and then you jumped in after you'd had a full career and you really have a good handle on at least a better handle on what's going on in the world, you've had a business or been in business. How did that all play out for you? And again, I know you've written the book for that purpose. So give us some background on that. Give us kind of some insight.
Well, as an author, I have to say, you should buy the book.
Yeah, there you go. Good job. I set you up for that.
Yeah, but basically, I had a very good experience because I was able to, I ended up teaching English. But I never had taught English before. Peace Corps does put you through a training session of 10 weeks, but they didn't really teach us how to teach English very well. So you basically have to figure it out on your own, which wasn't that hard for me because, I had pretty good English skills as a lawyer. But
I was going to say, how was their law system and legal? Were you privy to that? See that part of it? Is it something they do?
Yeah, their legal system. We have the common law system in the United States, and in Panama they use the civil law system, which is the system they use in Germany and Louisiana. So it's a completely different system from the one that I was very familiar with. So it was not, for something that I was used to, but I did observe it. But that was not my job when I was in the Peace Corps, and that was the last thing I wanted to do was try to figure out a new legal system.
Yeah, I'm to get it.
But that we were teaching English without textbooks, without copy machines. They give you nothing to work with and tell you go do it. So I actually took an easy way out. I decided to put up signs around town asking people who wanted to learn English to come to a meeting. And I formed an English club. It was an after-school activity rather than an in-school activity. The schools were not really doing a very good job of teaching English, and battling their bureaucracy and their politics was half the battle I didn't want to get involved with. So I did this after-school activity called the English Club, and it attracted a lot of interest, and a lot of people were able to learn English from it. And it went on for at least a decade after I left. I think maybe for 12 years.
Well,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that sounds like something that
So
worked.
I was going to say we might Washoe County might need you.
Yeah, exactly. I think we do.
Well, I kept saying to myself, I don't want to spend 2 years of my life, and when I leave, it's gone. And I want it to be sustainable. It was something that I never thought the Peace Corps really was concerned about, whether their projects were sustainable. So I focused on that.
And was there nothing, I'm hearing, that tone of, I'm so frustrated with what I observed. At least that's the way it sounds to me. Was there nowhere you could go to give this feedback and let them know that this can be done better, right? I mean, isn't that kind of what you're saying?
Well, the Peace Corps at the time that I joined, and I think to this day, really seeks to hire or seeks to get people to volunteer as older experienced Americans because of their experience. But then when they go into the Peace Corps, they completely ignore their experience. So I tried.
So maybe Washoe County is already there.
This is a federal program at its finest.
Yeah, so I tried to tell them when on my last few months there, they were going to try to ramp up the program that wasn't working, doing the same things that were not working, and it's like,
oh yeah.
I was trying to tell them this is not working, and this is why it's not working, and it's not going to work unless you do some things differently. But they didn't listen to me, and I don't really think they were interested in my input, even though they said they wanted experienced people.
Right.
Right.
May I ask, did you send them a copy of your book?
I have, yes.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Maybe they'll read it.
Hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. And others should read it as well. And I wanted you to know I did post to Amazon. Are there other places that they can buy the book besides Amazon?
Well, you can buy it in any bookstore because it's distributed through a book publisher that works with all the bookstores. I think it's called Ingram, but you can go to the bookstore and order it.
That's the distributor, yeah.
You can go to Barnes and Noble,
Good.
But you can get it on Amazon. You get it from the publishers, Dorrance Publishing, or any place you can buy books.
Perfect. Well, like I say, we did put a link out there for you. What do you want the audience, to the person who reads your book, what do you want them to get from that? What was your, what's your goal?
Your takeaway.
Yeah.
Well, I think that based on the feedback I've gotten from the many people that have talked to me about having read the book, they're very fascinated about just how lucky we are as Americans and how difficult it is to try to impose our views and ideologies on other countries around the world. There's a lot of resistance, to change, and making change is very difficult. So anybody that's thinking about working or volunteering or living abroad could benefit by reading this book, because there's a lot of insights into that endeavor.
Awesome. That's great. So go out and get yourself a copy of Why Didn't You Call? A Peace Corps Panama Expose by Michael Wald, who is with us right now. And we thank you for joining us. We do have to take another break. This is all part of our world. So thank you for being here today, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
It was a pleasure.
Have you, a friend, or family member been diagnosed with cancer? Dr. Forsyth at the Forsyth Cancer Care Center offers an all-inclusive program to treat adult types of cancer. The Forsyth Immune Protocol Cancer Treatment Plan, in a current prospective study of over 6.5 years and 1,200 adult cancer patients, has produced a remarkable 30 times greater survival statistic when compared to conventional full-dose chemotherapy. Greater than 95% of all their patients choose low-dose insulin-potentiated life chemotherapy, using only 10 to 15% chemotherapy dosing with insulin. Dr. Forsyth has long been considered one of the most respected physicians in the United States, particularly for his treatment of cancer and the legal use of human growth hormone. Located in Reno, Nevada, Dr. Forsyth has seen patients from all over the world. To schedule your consultation today, call 775-827-0707. That number again is 775-827-0707.
The Delta and Bonanza saloons in Virginia City are simply elegant. Imagine ascending the grand staircase and being surrounded by the Victorian elegance and grandeur of the historic banquet rooms. Original crystal chandeliers, mahogany bars, and oak dance floors highlight the eloquently appointed spaces. A truly romantic and unique setting for your wedding, banquets, or holiday parties. Detailed ceremony and menu planning ensures your special event is a memorable occasion. With just one call to Jesse at 775-847-0789, all of your arrangements will be handled by their experienced staff, with your every expectation in mind, including cakes, flowers, photography, videography, music, and party amenities. Complete ceremony and reception packages are available, as well as their famous themed weddings. Since 1865, the Delta and Bonanza Saloons guests have come from every state in the union. Now it's your turn. No event is too large or too small. Let the Delta and Bonanza Saloons plan your next incredible event. Call Jesse at 775-847-0789.
Hi, I'm Noreen Leary, CEO of the Veterans Guest House. Guest House is a home away from home for our veterans and their families who travel to Reno for medical care. Our house is more than just a warm bed. It's a place of camaraderie where veterans can find support and long-lasting friends. We serve veterans, men and women, young and old, Navy, Army, Marines, Coast Guard, and Air Force. Wherever they hail from and whatever their circumstance, the Veterans Guest House is ready to support them. The reason we feel so strongly about our mission is that we know that many veterans would forego their medical treatments because they simply can't afford the accommodations. The guest house is one of a kind in the country, funded entirely through private donations. Want to know how you can help? There are many ways you can be involved, from volunteering, providing dinners, or supplying items from our wish list. Find out more about the guest house at www.veteransguesthouse.org. Serving veterans today, tomorrow, and for years to come.
Wake up, the sun below. Got another road to sow. Let the fire feel the hope swelling up from the depths of my soul.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story, and I'm your host, Janice Hermson. We had a great interview.
Yeah, that was
Michael
kind of
Wald.
interesting. I personally considered, it's just where do you go for a couple of years and then you're all thrown off track as a young person. For me, that was the deal, right? It's just you're adding 2 years to your school and everything.
Maybe he was talking to you, though, because you could go right now.
Yeah, you're free.
You think those people would want me any more than the folks around me now? If they want me more, I might go.
Well, they didn't seem to appreciate what he brought to the table. So.
Well, and I think that's that. You get into that with developed countries a lot, right? They don't. It's like, hey, you guys got to do this, right? We wasted power, right? We did everything wrong in the Industrial Revolution, right? We burned up stuff. Why can't they do it? Right? We enforce clean energy on them, or waterways or whatever, right? And it's wrong for us to do that.
Well, you know what's interesting now for the countries that have vast areas of jungle that they're clearing and they're planting, and they're trying to industrialize.
That's Jan's buddy in Brazil there.
Yeah, and what do we tell them in this country? What do we say to them? oh, you can't do that. What about
That's
the
right.
environment? And this
So
and
it's
that.
hypocritical. It is totally hypocritical for us to say that.
Yeah, it's what we do, though.
I know. Well, I know, but I mean, I don't know how people sleep in that hypocrisy, right?
Oh,
I
they
just
probably
really
do
don't.
very well. I'll tell you how they sleep, because you're talking about someone else. They don't feel that they're hypocritical.
I would agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right. They
Yeah.
don't feel that they're hypocritical at all.
Yeah, and say, hey, no, and take it one step further, put a comma after that, and say, because we know what's best for you. You just don't know it yet, but we do.
Angry he is.
He
Can you
does
see
kind
that?
of slide into his zone, doesn't he? He doesn't have that voice thing, but he goes,
Right, yeah. Hey, I'm still working on my pivot.
oh.
You didn't pivot very well.
I
that
know.
time.
So, and I'm guessing Debbie's not up for a trek into like Panama.
Oh, maybe Panama. I think
That's wasn't this where he was?
Yeah.
But you know, you talk about the fact that you'd have 2 years of not knowing and all of that, and I think that at any age that's difficult. I don't care if you're 20, if you're 50, if you're 100. Well, maybe not 100. If you're 100, you're glad you're around, right?
You're like a town crier. It's like, give me a shovel and let me dig water ditches around town, right? I'm walking around with my shovel. I'm the shovel dude.
Well, the thing that puzzled me, and I do want to read his book, because the thing that puzzled me was that they gave him no guidance. I mean, this program's been around for 60 years, and they can't give him guidance? We're in trouble.
Yeah.
So
If they can't give him
we
guidance.
are.
So
Right?
don't you
Give
think
me a break.
they have these things and then they go into like the country government? So, but the federal government made the deal, not the local government. And so the local government just tries to cope unless you step on them. Then
That's
you got
crazy.
trouble.
It's crazy.
That's what happens in those kidnapping things, right? When you hear the church people, remember, wasn't that long ago, 14 people were kidnapped and held for ransom.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, in the South America. Do you remember that, Jay?
Mm.
Oh.
See, you're the only one.
Oh.
That's okay.
It happened, though. Promise, a personal oath.
It did happen. I'm
Yeah,
sure it did.
I think it did.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, I have something that's of news interest.
Please share.
And where were you this morning? Were you at work or were you at home?
Gosh, that's a loaded question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where were you
So,
this morning?
So best I know, wherever I am, I'm working.
Okay. All right. Well, at 10:03 this morning, we had an earthquake.
Oh, I was at home.
You were home, so you did feel it.
I felt it,
Oh.
and it was unusual because I thought the wind was blowing, and I was inside, and I was looking outside, the leaves blowing, and I felt that. My house is down, right? It doesn't move, right?
Yeah.
It's sound, and I felt
Is it
something.
on a slab?
I felt something. No, it's a it's a crawl space in the ground, right? It's down in the ground.
The epicenter was almost right at his house. It
Yeah.
says the epicenter was 2.1 miles southwest of Galena High School and less than a mile northeast of Galena Creek Bridge on I-580. Now, if you could follow that, you'd be at Ed's
It'd be
house.
like my house. That's right. GPS goes right to my driveway.
Wow. So
Oh.
you were at the epicenter. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
How big was it?
This is what I like.
How big was it?
It
It's like 2.4
No,
or
I have
something.
that here, 5.1.
What?
Oh no,
No.
no,
No
2.9.
I was going to say.
It wasn't.
Yeah, you
fun.
weren't going to feel
No,
it.
it was too. I thought it was the wind.
Yeah,
but it wasn't.
Yeah, that's the same thing that I thought. Yeah, but one of the
I
things,
wasn't at home. I was at
Yeah.
work. So
It was.
I was working.
It was 0.23.
go ahead, say that.
0.23 miles below the surface.
Huh.
The thing that I like about that is how does they know that?
How does they know that?
That
We're going to send
I
you to
better-
an English class.
I think I'm going to have to test my water because that's where my well water comes from 2.3 miles underneath. It could be radioactive or something. It could be like, haven't you seen the kraken or kraken or something? Something could have come out of the ground with that. Swam into my well.
you know, I was working when we had the Northridge earthquake.
Northridge. He's doing well today.
Okay. No, well, that was in Southern California.
I was there.
Okay.
I was a mile from the epicenter.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we were out there working. And as you well know, there were many, many aftershocks. And you would stand in a
People
room.
were
with,
sleeping outside because of that.
Yes.
Yeah. We couldn't
and
sleep
all
in
of
our
a
house.
sudden, I'm in a room with 50 people, right? And there's the chatter, and then the ground would start to shake, and then it was dead silence,
Did they all go under doorways?
No.
There wouldn't have been enough
There wouldn't have
doorways.
been enough. That's what I was wondering if there was a scramble, right?
Oh, the doorways busy with people running out.
Oh, I was going to say, did everyone lay flat? Because, right, if you're thinner, you can lay flatter than someone who's like rotund, who sticks up. Maybe the beam will catch on their back, save my ass.
No, if you haven't felt an earthquake, man, oh man, it's one of those things because your mind doesn't compute. Everything we do during the day, it flashes
Especially
back.
when you're sleeping.
Yes.
And then you wake up and you think the roof is going to come down upon you.
Yeah. Well, whatever you do, your mind falls back onto something that it can relate to. Earthquakes you can't, because the things that are stable in your life are now mobile.
Oh,
and
yeah.
your brain has trouble with that.
Yeah, the very first earthquake that I experienced, the walls were like moving.
Yeah.
Like this. They were flexible, right? Which I guess the house was built properly if they do that, right? I guess. I don't know.
So
I just know I looked at it and I went, "What the heck is going on?"
See, that's what I mean. Your brain didn't have anything to talk to.
No, and then there was a big explosion. So then I fell back to my childhood. It's a nuclear war. So you put your hands over your head and go under the pillow.
So put your nose on a bat and walk around and lay on the ground, right?
Here's an extension of that in regards to the public. I was working as head dispatcher in the San Gabriel Valley when the Whittier quake hit. The Whittier quake, the ground had not stopped shaking, and our entire office lit up. Every 911, well, we didn't have 911 then. Every line we had coming in was flashing. We couldn't answer the phones quick enough. What was that? We need you out here. Shut up and hang up on them, Jeez Louise. Oh, it was incredible. How could people be so stupid?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
He's worse than you.
I know. I've always known. So one of these days, maybe we'll be around. It'll just turn into a beach. California will be a big beach over there.
That's right. Yeah, Whittier. Yeah, Whittier will have shoreline.
So no, we still got to get to the other side of the mountains, but
yeah, we won't have beachfront property. There's no way. It's not going to happen.
No, it'll likely be those lucky people in Verdi.
Yeah. They probably will, huh? Yeah, they're in the right spot.
And an extension to that, what the County of Los Angeles Fire Department learned from our experience with earthquakes, we built, instead of having 3 independent dispatch centers, we consolidated, put them into one, and they were built on shock absorbers.
Huh.
So, well, it's kind of weird because the building is designed to kind of move around, and I thought, well, that's neat, but it's going to move around and we'll be down on the road in East LA, but we'll be still standing.
You will. Yeah. You just roll right with it.
I think they're going to go with the floating islands, right? I mean,
yeah.
I never expected to be talking about earthquakes today. That's a surprise.
Pivot.
Yeah. Pivot. You like to pivot.
I'm working on it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I want to make sure everybody remembers go out and check out Michael Wald's book, Why Didn't You Call? And that is the Peace Corps Panama Expose. So make sure you check out his book. It is on all bookstores, anywhere, everywhere that you want to go. And of course, Heroes and Giants. Don't forget about that, Mr. What's your name over there? Doug Ashby. He has also got an audiobook, so make sure you check that out. It's all over the place, so make sure you look for it.
I was going to say, and pay attention to the school board vote, right?
Yes.
We've had 3 guests on our shows over the last month that are school board candidates, and we think they'd help our schools out.
I did vote for one of them we had as a guest.
Whatever. Okay. There you go. We'll be right back.
Businesses, writers, check this out. Go to lrpnv.com to get your printing, publishing, and professional services today. Need a virtual office? A place to receive and forward your mail with professional address and suite number for your business? Someone to answer your telephones? Want to rent a conference room for only $15 an hour? What about that book you've been wanting to have printed? LRP Printing and Business Center can do it for you. And they have a professional assistant on site daily, Monday through Friday. Just call 775-356-1004. Need copies, business cards, invoices, books, booklets, or graphic design to help brand you or your business? Just call 775-356-1004 or go to lrpnv.com. With a great selection of new and used books, you can get your printing done and a book to entertain you in your time off. And don't forget, you could have your business sponsoring the Bookhound Radio Show, just like Andrew Martoni, author of Little Men in the Map, does every week. Just go to lrpnv.com. That's lrpnv.com or call 775-356-1004. They'll provide solutions for your business and writing projects.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by A Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Barbecue, the Butcher's Kitchen would like to thank every customer for your loyalty and continued support through these challenging times. Call for takeout and delivery of rib tips, brisket, ahi, tuna, roasted veggies, and much more. Barbecue's open from 11 to 7, Monday through Saturday, and delivers hot food safe and healthy. Call 499-5855 for details. 499-5855 Barbecue, as featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives. Get real. Get into Barbecue Reno.
Did you realize that radio advertising doesn't cost? It pays. America Matters Media has an opening for a person who would like to represent our sales department on a full or part-time commission basis. Prior sales experience preferable. So, if you have good presentation, negotiation, organization, and communication skills, America Matters wants to talk to you. Contact Eddie Floyd, 775-384-4444. Do it today.
Now she's gone like a...
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? And we've been talking about so many different things. We've had a couple of guests
halls
today.
are full. There's hordes of observers with the voting, early voting open.
It's true. It's true.
And it's raining outside.
It's raining outside, and I just got a text from someone that said that it's snowing in, I think she said Lemon Valley.
Hallelujah, right? We could use the water.
Hang on. Where's my text? There it is. Hang on a second. I got to tell you where it's snowing, because it is snowing right now. Except I have to find which one did she send to me on?
Income
Red
Village?
Rock and Lemon Valley.
Oh.
And I will say she did say Stinky Lemon Valley, but because of that water problem there.
Oh.
What can I say? She's frustrated.
Well,
So-
obviously, so are folks in Flint and things. And to me, this is one of the biggest issues, right? They talk about infrastructure, but this Jackson, Mississippi, I mean, healthy drinking water in cities is not
Not common.
important to them.
That's not
right? It's
common
obviously
either.
not that important to
Yeah.
folks because, I mean, they got pipes over hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
They haven't spent money on clean water. Certainly in the West, it's going to be a big issue.
Soon.
But everyone in this country should have the right to something that comes out of the faucet they can drink. My son says they can't in Vegas, right? But that's just one Western
And there are
town.
areas in here that
right,
you can't.
right.
You know.
But I think that's something that needs to be addressed.
I agree.
Yep.
It is Book Blitz time, gang. I can't believe how fast this show has gone.
What? That's what
But-
happens when we have guests.
It is. It's probably good. It keeps us quiet more. All right, so it's time for our Book Blitz. Doug, I'll bet you have a book.
I do.
Or
I
two.
do. This is one of them. I'm going to start right off. 16,000 ratings.
There he
Which,
goes.
yeah, I wouldn't.
Was it a perfect 5?
Yeah, no, actually almost a 4.5 out of 5. That's pretty good.
That is
It's
pretty
where
good.
where the sky begins, and it came out in August 2nd of 22. And the author is, I believe this is right, Rhys Bowen, Rhys.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah, that would be.
Sounds good.
Yeah, she probably went to Washoe schools. That's why they don't spell her name right. But this is a book.
Boy, we're a tough group today.
Yeah, this is a book I looked up on the internet. I enjoy books around surrounding World War II. And so I took a chance on this, ordered it, and they sent it to me. And when I first started, probably the first chapter, I thought, oh my gosh, maybe I made a mistake with this. But the more I got into it, the more I enjoyed it. And it's in London in 1940, and it's a story of a lady, Josie Banks, whose world crumbles around her. She gets bombed. Anyway, it's a story about her. But the sub story is it's a tale of human nature. The author brings in so many different characters, and the thing that I like about the author is I really don't like it when I read a book when they have foreign names that I can't pronounce.
That's when you do an Audible book. That way you don't have to worry about it.
All of her characters are Bob Jones, Ethel Smith, you know, and it's so nice. But anyway, it's
kind of dull.
Having
Ed,
yeah,
right? Just the plain, right? Just the plain names.
Yeah, it's really a neat book. It tells a good story. There's a lot of twists and turns in it. I am within the last 50 pages, and I'm having a very, very difficult time putting the book down. It's that good. Name of it again: Where the Sky Begins. Rhys Bowen, 1,684 reviews. And she didn't mention my book at all.
So I was going to say, we go back. How many books do you think he sold? Do you think he sold 1,600 books?
They could have given away 500.
I'm just saying. I'm right. I'm just trying to pencil, get down to the nitty gritty.
She's written, I don't know, 8 or 10 books, and a lot of them are mentioned in the New York Times bestsellers, and she has a lot of ratings, so people just go by her name to buy a book. And I after I read the first chapter, I was a little disappointed, but then it started picking up. And then the more you read, the more chapters you got through, the faster pace it became. And then you really fell in love with the characters. And she had about 3 or 4 different characters that were going different ways, and you wondered how they were going to weave into the story. It was done very, 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 very well. Anyway, I would recommend it, because not only do I recommend it, I've read it. So.
Well, there you go. That's perfect. Do you have something for us, or did I take it away from you?
So in the second hour, we have a different listening audience.
Oh, there you go. All right. You go for it.
So our word of the day is
Shavu.
Shavu. Believe it or not, there's an Apple app named Shavu.
And I want to know why you consider this to be a book.
Well, because apps. Oh, that's interesting. You're right.
Yeah, I just
Because
curious.
well, to me, in this space, Shavu takes the place of a planner.
And that's a book. Okay,
And
I'm
that's
just trying to get the
So in
A to
this,
B to C.
and there is some kind of unique thing with my son at school, but it's really for those people that go to big events. I mean, I would think that if you were I don't know, Republican or Democrat candidate, you might have this, right? There's people who are going to be there, right? Who's going to be,
Okay.
right?
All right,
That
I
kind
get
of
it.
thing. And so you can send out invites, do whatever. It had 12 ratings, 5 out of 5. I don't know, likely who developed the app did the 12 reviews.
Perhaps. They
However,
probably requested it.
however, best I know, the word of the day has never been a book or an app.
Or an app. That's true. That is true.
That
We'll
wait
check
a
that.
minute. Hey, we
We'll
have to
check that.
We have to go back to we
Fact
were
check.
talking about pivots. Poor. That was a bad pivot.
Well, I thought he did a good job of making an app be a book. I think that's kind of interesting, right?
Well, right. I mean, but
Now,
I
if it
have
was a Kindle, it would be one thing.
if I've learned anything, right? Politicians can make anything out of any situation.
That
Isn't
is
that the
true.
truth?
They
No.
can make chicken soup out of all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
You're
that
right.
was cleaned up.
All right. So my book is called, and it was based on our word of the day, Shavu, because this is how I happened upon it. This is by Jonathan Green, and it's slang, a very short introduction. And then it says very short introductions in parentheses. I hate to tell you, Doug, it's only got 10 ratings, but it is a 4 I can't tell if it's more than 4.5. But only 10 ratings. So slang, however, one judges it, shows us how at our most human. It is used widely and often, typically associated with the writers of noir fiction, teenagers, and rappers, but also found in the works of Shakespeare and Dickens. It has been recorded since at least 1500 AD, and today's vocabulary, taken from every major English-speaking country, runs to over 125,000 slang words and phrases. I just thought it was an interesting book. We talk about words of the day all the time, and slang is definitely a part of that, though we don't use it often. And so I just thought this was a good book, and it is by Jonathan Green, Slang, a very short introduction, parentheses, very short introductions. So go pick one up. I'm probably going to.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was Blitzy too.
I know. I did blitz, didn't I? How
And
about that?
I don't think it's ever
I
happened.
needed to.
I don't think it's ever happened where I've had a book at the Book Blitz that had more reviews than your book. Right? It's the
By 10
first time
ratings.
ever by 2. I had 12. You had 10.
I know. I know.
So, but that may be
You
the first.
outdid me.
That
You
may be
outdid
the
me.
first time ever that's happened.
That's awesome, though. Oh, well, we had a great show today, and we're really glad that we were able to have all these folks on. It is busy here today, isn't
There's
it?
people
There's
around.
lots of people
There's
voting.
activity,
Yeah,
even though
that's
it's
a good
cold.
sign.
Get
It
out
is
and
a good
vote,
sign.
folks.
Yeah.
Get out and vote.
Yeah.
Don't
well,
take anything for granted, whichever place you are.
That's right. No, it doesn't matter what your party, what your leanings are. You need to vote because
Get your work
that's
done.
how America works.
Yeah.
And
We're-
even when
we're-
it doesn't necessarily work the way it should, we still need to vote.
Yep.
Yeah.
The more we
Yeah.
vote, the better
Yep.
we can.
We're blessed to live in
define.
a country that allows that.
That's
Oh.
right. No,
Yeah.
that's true. You
Or
are correct
pretends
about
to
that.
let us think we're allowing it.
Well, you know, I
Yes.
have a solution for the problems that we have, and I'm going to write an article about it.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'll promote it that way, because I think my solution is really simple, and it could put egg on my face all day long if we used it.
Is the
So-
book named Etch a Sketch?
No, it's not a book. It's just an idea, just a solution.
Oh, isn't
to-
that like, wasn't there a game show? It's like who's
what? I don't
where
even know
where
what-
the answer is a question.
Oh, well, that's Jeopardy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh.
that's still on.
I know, but
I
it.
think.
Well,
Actually, I don't watch TV, so
Yeah.
I can't say
Yeah,
I,
that.
don't- I haven't seen Jeopardy in 100 years.
I know. I'd have to ask my sister if Jeopardy's still
Yeah.
on. She might text me, and we don't have much time left.
You
but she
you
might
you,
text me.
you
before we're
heard
off.
Jeopardy when it was just on the radio, right?
He's not quite that old.
Maybe.
Come on, come on. Doug.
So
Be
we
nice.
do have a thing. I'll tell you is when Steve and I go
10
either
seconds, buddy.
backpacking or hiking, he has old time radio on his phone, and we go
Yeah.
to bed listening to old time radio.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah. All right. We are going to see you again next week, we hope. And make sure you get out there and vote. And we will too. And I think we're on the day that we vote. So
We are, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So be sure to vote. And we'll remind you one more time. All right. Thank you. Have a great week.
Hey, sister.
1 in 3 adults in America have pre-diabetes.